Alright, this video is on the truth of Seth Payton's words. The difficulty here isn't in what he has to say, it's the way that he approaches it. Many of the things that he has to say about me are absolutely 100% correct. Of course, many of the things that he has to say about me are 100% wrong. Why do I feel for James Payton? First of all, I'd like to say that I called James Payton a coward, accused him of hiding behind his family. That is true. But at the same time, I still have respect for the man because he spoke to me. To me. One of the things that Seth had to say was that Jamie has already been caught lying. What's to say that she didn't self-inflict those wounds, that bruising? Well, I wasn't there. I wasn't actually there to see how she got those bruises. Maybe they were self-inflicted. I doubt it, but that doesn't mean that it didn't happen. So Seth could be right about that. The other thing is that many of the things that Seth has to say about how James was treated by me over the slander from Jamie, he doesn't like the fact that that happened. He doesn't like the fact that his Uncle James, his uncle brother, whatever, first of all had his name slandered, but second of all, that it was over, well, a woman's words who is not to be trusted. A woman with a history of doing those things. A woman with a history of lying like that, of manipulating. Now, it's important for someone who is playing, whether they're male or female, to keep those who she's playing separated, keep them from communicating with each other, either by not allowing them to know of each other's existence, or by manipulating them into hating each other, as Jamie often does, and by preventing them from communicating by just not working for that. While I was up there in South Dakota, I wanted to speak to James as a human being. Jamie wanted to claim that James just wanted to get me alone so he could kill me. I don't see James as that kind of a person, but I know Jamie to be a manipulator. Now, the same situation with James and Jamie is a similar situation with myself and Natalie. I judged James because of what Jamie had to say. But unlike with Natalie, where Natalie outright lied and then people just warped that lie into something completely fucked up, I based my decisions on what it is that Jamie told me in specific. I didn't have to go manufacturing stuff. Jamie, anything that was manufactured out of that situation came directly from Jamie. I didn't have to go making up stuff about it. This is what Jamie told me, and because Jamie is my friend, somebody that I care about, and her son especially, I wanted to believe Jamie, knowing that she's not honest and that she is a player. Now, I had hoped that getting older she might have worked her way out of that, but she didn't. That's pretty obvious. She manipulated a situation. Before Natalie was killed, she was still manipulating a situation. And she didn't need to. There was no reason for it, except for her self-gratification that she can still manipulate people. Now, many of the points that Seth had to make are the points that I've been trying to make all along, but he pretends that I'm saying something else. He goes out of his way to twist my words into something that they're not, which is something that I'm used to. And that's why James is a coward. See, between me and him dealing with it as adults and working together to remedy the situation, Seth just wants to make it all worse. He wants to twist and contort and manipulate just like Jamie does. Just like Natalie did. See, people weren't harming me for anything that I did to Natalie. They were harming me because of what Natalie pretended that I could possibly do to her. I drove 1,700 miles to Virginia at her request because she was suicidal. I drove 1,700 miles away from Virginia to get away from her and her sister and her family so they could feel safe. Were they ever unsafe? Of course. It's a family full of druggies. Are you fucking kidding me? They consort with some pretty off-the-wall fucking mental cases that do drugs. And as we all know, alcoholics and druggies don't exactly operate right in the head. They're selfish people. And selfish people twist, contort, and manipulate. That's just what they do. The problem isn't in what he did, it's his approach to it. Instead of Seth talking to me like I'm a human being, he wants to be a manipulative asshole. And then complain when I'm an asshole back. Well, don't be a little bitch. Kind of like the situation with Candace. With Candace, I knew that situation was temporary. I knew it wasn't going to last long. And that I was going to have to leave. That was agreed on before I ever went to Candace's. The part that's fucked up is how Candace manipulated the situation to make me believe that her and her children would be thrown out in the snow. Not in a million years. Lori would never allow that. Lori Dale would never allow Candace and her 2 daughters to be thrown out in the snow. Candace did what she did because she's a manipulative bitch. Between telling the truth and admitting that it's her decision, she wanted to blame it on others. It's her landlord's fault. It's Officer Michael Beard's fault. Now, when it comes to Officer Michael Beard, I can wholeheartedly believe that because of the way that he interacted with me. While Miss Shelley could have been being beaten to death at that very moment, he had a shit-eating grin on his face. It was a fucked up situation. Now the thing here is that Seth is a bitch, straight up. If he wasn't a bitch, he would talk to me like a human being. By the way, James, you have my permission to give Seth my phone number. You do. Now, I typed a bunch of mean stuff to Seth this morning, and it was just to be mean. Because that's all Seth is doing, is going out of his way just to be mean. A lot of the points that he has to make about the situation with James and Jamie are the same exact points that I have been making about my situation with Jamie and my situation with Natalie. The difference is I don't have family that gives a shit. My dad didn't want to hear a thing that I had to say. He already had it in his head how things were and how they were going to go. And he was completely wrong about all of it. But I already know that arguing with my dad is futile. Now, as far as lying, did I lie through any of this? Yeah, goddamn right I did. I'm not actually going to go fucking hunt down Dalton Crawford and kill him. I'm not going to go hunt down Braxton and kill him. Just because these people threatened my life doesn't mean that I'm a killer. I said those things to try to force an honest day in court. I shouldn't have had to do that. That is never something that somebody should have to do. Going to the cops was not good enough. Going to the cops resulted in me being drugged and assaulted. So you goddamn right. Yeah, I had to do something. Did I lie other than that? You goddamn right I did. I also said I would kill the President of the United States. What the fuck makes you think that I give two shits about Donald Trump? All these people hating Donald Trump for things that Donald Trump didn't do. He's not the only person in America. There are over 300 million American citizens, most of whom are bitches, blaming everything on everybody else. It's the Republicans' fault, the Democrats' fault. It's Donald Trump's fault, or Donald Trump is the savior who's going to fix everything. No, you need to get off your ass. Stop expecting everyone else to. Me, I'm off my ass. I'm doing this the best that I can with the resources that I have, and it's not the resources that you think. Many of these places you say, you need to go here for help. I went there for help. There was no help to be had, but it sure as fuck cost me resources to get there. It cost me everything that I had to believe people, like Rand Ingersoll. And I knew that she was an alcoholic. I knew that her having one bad day or one drunken fucking situation would fuck up the whole thing. But I had to try to have faith because I had no one else. And Rihanna did try to help me. The way that she said that she would help me, well, it wasn't her fault that her husband was not okay with it. But at the same time, she should have consulted her husband before saying those things were okay. Because I expended my resources for empty words, for promises that she couldn't keep. And if I had known she couldn't keep her word, I would have gone elsewhere for help. Just like with Brenda Dickinson, if I'd have known she couldn't keep her word, I would have gone elsewhere for help. Just like with Tabitha Michelle Cook, if I'd have known that she couldn't keep her word, I would have gone elsewhere for help. Now I understand that these people are going to defend their families, whether their families are right or wrong. I get that, but I don't have a family, and I have to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. Now, I was planning on killing myself tomorrow at McIntosh Dairy Farm. I had a ride set up. I just needed to find the right diameter of pipe and a 12-gauge shotgun shell, which, believe it or not, isn't that complicated. However, my ride has not contacted me in a few days, which means that he's probably mad at me, which means that somebody probably let him know that I was talking about him, which I'm fine with. But further than that, that man gave me permission to record him, and I have his recording on my computer, by the way.